Alright folks, let's talk about something we all know and love. It's bubbly, it's sweet, it's the star of every movie theater concession stand. I'm talking about Coca-Cola. But where did this magical elixir come from? Was it beamed down from space? Did a wizard conjure it in a mystical cauldron? Nope. The story starts way back on May 8th, 1886, in Atlanta, Georgia. The hero of our tale is a pharmacist named Dr. John Stith Pemberton. Now, Dr. Pemberton wasn't trying to create the world's most famous soda. He was actually trying to cook up a patent medicine, you know, one of those old-timey tonics that promised to cure everything from headaches to exhaustion. It was basically the 1880s version of a super caffeinated energy drink. So picture this. Dr. Pemberton is in his lab, which was probably just his backyard shed, mixing up all sorts of ingredients in a big brass kettle. He adds a dash of this, a pinch of that, and voila, he creates a unique caramel-colored flavored syrup. It tasted pretty good, so he thought, hey, maybe I've got something here. He decided to take his new concoction down the street to the local hotspot, Jacob's Pharmacy. This was the place to be, the social hub of Atlanta. Think of it as the 19th century equivalent of a Starbucks, but with more questionable medical advice. He wanted to see if people would actually, at the pharmacy, they decided to try mixing the syrup with the latest craze carbonated water from the soda fountain. And let me tell you, that was the eureka moment. The fizz from the soda water combined with the sweet, mysterious flavor of Pemberton's syrup was a match made in heaven. It was an instant hit. They started selling it for 5 cents a glass, which was a pretty good deal even back then. People loved it. It was refreshing, it was different, and it probably gave them a nice little sugar rush to get through their day. Little did anyone know, this simple 5-cent drink sold out of a local pharmacy would one day take over the entire planet. But here's the funny part. In that first year, Coca-Cola wasn't exactly flying off the shelves. Sales were modest. We're talking an average of about 9 drinks per day. 9! That's fewer customers than my monologue gets some nights. Dr. Pemberton probably thought he had a nice little side hustle, something to make a few extra bucks. He had absolutely no idea that he had just uncorked one of the most successful products in human history. It just goes to show you sometimes the biggest ideas start with a small, fizzy experiment in a neighborhood pharmacy. It's a classic tale of accidental genius, and it all started with one man and his kettle. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever stumbled onto something great by accident, or do you have a favorite Coca-Cola memory? Drop your thoughts and stories in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation fizzing. Okay, so Dr. Pemberton has his magical brown syrup. It's a hit with the 9 people a day who are drinking it. But it needs a name. You can't just sell something called Pemberton's vaguely medicinal brain tonic, right? That doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. This is where another key player enters our story, Frank M. Robinson. Frank was Dr. Pemberton's bookkeeper and partner. He was the numbers guy, the sensible one. But it turns out, he also had a secret talent for marketing. He was basically the Don Draper of 1880s Atlanta, but with a better mustache and probably fewer existential crises. Frank sat down and thought about the main ingredients in the syrup. He knew it contained extracts from the coca leaf and the cola nut, which is where the caffeine came from, so he put them together. Coca-Cola. Simple, right? But he had a brilliant little tweak. He suggested changing the K in cola to a C. Why? Because he thought the 2 C's would look fantastic in advertising. Coca-Cola. It just had a ring to it. It sounded rhythmic, memorable, and a little bit exotic. It was pure marketing gold, and they hadn't even designed a logo yet. Now, for the logo. This is my favorite part. Frank Robinson didn't just come up with the name, he designed the logo himself. In the 1880s, the most popular style of handwriting for formal documents and fancy correspondence was called Spencerian script. It was elegant, it was flowy, and it made everything look super important. Frank practiced his penmanship, and in that beautiful swooping script, he wrote out the words Coca-Cola. That script he penned in 1886 is, with very few changes, the exact same logo we see today all over the world. It's incredible. The logo is so famous you don't even need to read it. You see that red can with the white swirl and you know exactly what it is. Think about it. This logo was created before there were cars, before the Eiffel Tower was built, before movies even existed, and it's still one of the most recognized symbols on Earth. It's a testament to Frank Robinson's incredible foresight. He wasn't just a bookkeeper, he was a branding visionary. He understood that a great name and a great logo were just as important as the product itself. He created a visual identity that was so perfect, so timeless, that it has lasted for over 130 years. So next time you see that classic Coca-Cola script, give a little nod to Frank, the man whose beautiful handwriting helped launch a global empire. And now, I want to hear from you. What's your favorite Coca-Cola logo or branding moment? Maybe it's a vintage sign, a special can, or a memory from an ad campaign. Drop your favorite in the comments below. I can't wait to see which ones you love most. So, we have a drink and we have a name. But Dr. Pemberton, bless his heart, wasn't much of a businessman. He was a pharmacist. Plus, his health was failing. He started selling off parts of his business to different people, and the whole thing was getting a bit messy. It was like a great band with a hit song but no manager. The future of Coca-Cola was looking a little flat. But then, a new character entered the scene, and he was about to turn up the fizz. His name was Asa G. Candler, an Atlanta businessman with a keen eye for opportunity. He saw the potential in this bubbly beverage when no one else really did. Asa Candler was a marketing genius. Before Dr. Pemberton passed away in 1888, Candler started buying up all the shares of the Coca-Cola company. He was determined to get full control. By 1891, he had acquired the entire company for the grand total of about $2,300. I know, right? That's like the price of a used car today. It has to be one of the greatest business deals in history. Candler didn't just buy a recipe, he bought a future. He knew this drink could be more than just a local Atlanta favorite. He had a vision to make Coca-Cola a national brand. Candler's first move was to get the word out. He was a pioneer of promotional marketing. He printed thousands of coupons for a free glass of Coca-Cola and had them distributed everywhere. It was a simple but brilliant idea. Let people try it for free, and they'll come back for more. And they did. He also plastered the Coca-Cola logo on everything he could find. We're talking calendars, clocks, serving trays, urns, and all sorts of pharmacy knickknacks. He was basically the first person to invent branded merchandise. He made sure you couldn't walk down a street in Atlanta without seeing that beautiful Spencerian script somewhere. Thanks to Asa Candler's relentless and creative marketing, Coca-Cola exploded in popularity. By 1895, just a few years after he took over, Coca-Cola was being sold in every single state and territory in the United States. He had taken it from a 9-drinks-a-day operation to a nationwide sensation. He was the one who really put the business in show business, or in this case, fizz business. He transformed Coca-Cola from a simple soda fountain drink into a true American icon. Asa Candler wasn't the inventor, but he was the one who saw the sparkle and knew how to make it shine for the whole country to see. Now I want to hear from you. What's your favorite Coca-Cola marketing campaign or advertisement? Drop your answer in the comments below and let's see which ones bring back the best memories. Alright, so Coca-Cola is a huge hit at soda fountains across America. You walk in, the soda jerk mixes the syrup with some bubbly water and you sip it right there at the counter. It's great, but there's a problem. You can't take it with you. You can't bring it on a picnic. You can't enjoy it at home. Asa Candler was happy selling syrup, but a couple of clever businessmen from Chattanooga, Tennessee had a different idea. In 1899, 2 lawyers named Benjamin Thomas and Joseph Whitehead approached Candler with a wild proposal. They wanted to buy the rights to bottle Coca-Cola. Now at first, Candler thought this was a ridiculous idea. Bottling was a new thing and he was making plenty of money just selling the syrup to pharmacies. He couldn't imagine people wanting to drink Coca-Cola out of a bottle. So, he made a deal that he probably thought was a joke. He sold them the bottling rights for the entire United States for the grand sum of $1. $1 single dollar. He probably thought he'd gotten the better end of the deal. Little did he know he had just signed away what would become one of the most profitable parts of the business. It's like selling your friend a lottery ticket for $1 and then watching them win the Powerball. So, Thomas and Whitehead started bottling Coca-Cola and it was a massive success. But soon, a new problem popped up. Copycats. Lots of other companies started making similar-looking drinks in similar-looking straight-sided bottles with names like Coca-Nola or My Coca-Co. It was confusing for customers. The Coca-Cola bottlers needed a bottle that was so distinctive, you could recognize it even if you felt it in the dark. Or, as they put it, a bottle so unique that you'd know it even if it was broken into pieces on the ground. That's a pretty high bar. In 1915, they held a competition for a new bottle design. The winner was the Root Glass Company of Terre Haute, Indiana. Their design was inspired by the shape of a cocoa pod. Even though cocoa isn't an ingredient in Coke, it was a creative mix-up. The result was the legendary Contour bottle. It was curvy, it was elegant, and it was completely unique. It became just as iconic as the logo itself. Patented in 1915, this bottle solved the copycat problem and gave Coca-Cola a physical identity that was unmistakable. It was a masterpiece of design that turned a simple beverage into a handheld work of art. And now, I want to hear from you. Do you remember your first time seeing or holding that classic Coca-Cola bottle? Maybe it was at a family picnic, a movie night, or a special celebration. Share your favorite Coca-Cola bottle memories in the comments below. Let's celebrate this iconic design together. Coca-Cola had conquered America. From sea to shining sea, people were sipping on that sweet, fizzy goodness. But, you know, the world is a big place, and there were a lot of thirsty people out there. The company soon set its sights on global domination. In the nicest way possible, of course. The first baby steps outside the United States were small. In 1906, bottling operations began in nearby Cuba and Panama. It was a logical move, but honestly, it was just the beginning of a massive international adventure. The real global journey started to pick up speed after World War I. The brand dipped its toes in Asian waters first, with the Philippines opening a bottling plant in 1912. But the European invasion was next on the list. In 1919, just as the world was recovering from the war, the first European bottling plants opened in Paris and Bordeaux, France. Can you imagine? Parisians sitting at a cafe, sipping a Coca-Cola instead of wine? It must have been quite a sight. From there it was like a fizzy domino effect. Spain got its first taste in 1926, Belgium in 1927, and by the end of the decade, Germany and the Netherlands had joined the party. Coke was officially an international superstar. But how did it get to the land down under? Well, Coca-Cola first arrived in Australia in the early 1900s, but it was only available at a few fancy soda fountains in pubs and milk bars. It was a rare treat. The real magic happened in 1938, when the very first bottle of Coca-Cola was produced in Australia. A small factory was set up in Waterloo, a suburb of Sydney, with just 10 employees and 4 delivery trucks. From these humble beginnings, the love for Coke began to spread across the vast continent, one bottle at a time. The arrival of American soldiers in Australia during World War II really kicked things into high gear. The GIs brought their love for Coke with them, and soon, Aussies were catching on too. The bottling plants, especially in Brisbane, were working around the clock to supply both American and Australian troops. After the war, that popularity just kept growing. The company began granting franchise licenses all over the country, and soon, there were dozens of bottling locations, making sure no Aussie was ever too far from a cold Coke. From Atlanta to Sydney, the fizzy wave had officially crossed the Pacific. Now it's your turn. Let us know in the comments, where in the world have you enjoyed a Coke? We'd love to hear your fizzy stories from around the globe. The Coca-Cola story isn't just about one drink, it's about adapting and innovating, sometimes in the most unexpected ways. Let's jump to World War II. The war caused all sorts of chaos, including major disruptions to international trade. In Germany, the local head of Coca-Cola, Max Keith, had a big problem. He couldn't get the secret syrup shipped from the United States to make Coke. He had a factory, he had workers, but he had no product. So, what did he do? He invented a whole new drink. Instead of shutting down, Max Keith got creative. He used whatever leftover ingredients he could find. We're talking about things like whey, the liquid left over from making cheese, and apple pomace, which is the pulpy stuff left from pressing cider. I know, it sounds a little weird, right? But he mixed it all together, added some fruit flavorings, and called it Fanta, which comes from the German word for fantasy or imagination. And just like that, Fanta was born out of necessity. It kept the factory running and became surprisingly popular in Germany during the war. After the war, Coca-Cola took over the Fanta brand, and now it's a global sensation. It's the ultimate story of making fizzy lemonade out of lemons. Fast forward a few decades to 1982. The world was changing. People were becoming more health conscious. Jane Fonda was in every living room with her workout tapes, and calories were suddenly the enemy. Coca-Cola realized it needed a drink for people who loved the taste but didn't want the sugar. So for the first time in 96 years, they decided to extend the Coca-Cola brand. They launched Diet Coke at a glamorous party in New York City. It was a huge risk. Would people accept a diet version of their beloved classic? The answer was a resounding yes. It was an instant smash hit. But the innovation didn't stop there. In 2005, the company realized there was another group of people to please, those who wanted the classic Coke taste with zero sugar. Diet Coke has its own unique flavor, but they wanted to create something that tasted as close to the original as possible. And so Coca-Cola Zero was born. Marketed with a sleek black can, it was aimed at people who wanted the real taste without the sugar. It was another brilliant move, showing that the company was always listening to its customers and wasn't afraid to shake things up to keep everyone happy. Now, we want to hear from you. Which one is your favorite? Fanta, Diet Coke, or Classic Coke? Let us know in the comments below. Coca-Cola is a master of marketing. We all know that classic ads with the polar bears and the "I'd like to buy the world a Coke" song. They're experts at making you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. But in 2011, they came up with a campaign that was pure genius, and it started all the way down in Australia. It was simple, it was personal, and it was brilliant. It was the Share a Coke campaign. The idea was to take the iconic Coca-Cola logo off the bottles and replace it with hundreds of the most popular names in the country. Suddenly you weren't just buying a Coke. You were buying a Chris, a Sarah, or a Michael. People went crazy for it. You'd stand in front of the cooler at the store, digging around for your name, your friend's name, or your mom's name. It was like a treasure hunt. It turned buying a soda into a personal experience. It was interactive. People started taking pictures of the bottles and posting them online, creating a massive wave of free advertising. The campaign was all about connection and sharing, which is exactly what Coca-Cola wants its brand to represent. The campaign was such a massive success in Australia that Coca-Cola rolled it out all over the world. It spread to over 80 countries, with each country customizing the list of names to fit its own population. They even added fun nicknames like BFF, Wingman, and Legend. It was a global phenomenon that proved that even a 125-year-old brand could come up with a fresh, modern idea that connected with a new generation. It was a masterclass in making a huge global brand feel incredibly personal and local. This wasn't just about selling more soda, it was about creating moments. It was about giving someone a bottle with their name on it and seeing their face light up. It was about the fun of the search. The campaign tapped into a basic human desire to feel seen and recognized. It was a simple twist on the label, but it fundamentally changed how people interacted with the product. It showed that Coca-Cola wasn't just a drink, it was a conversation starter, a gift, and a way to share a little bit of happiness, one personalized bottle at a time. So if you've ever spotted a friend's name on a Coke bottle, tag them in the comments and share the moment. Who knows, maybe they'll spot yours next. Every great city has its landmarks. Paris has the Eiffel Tower, New York has the Statue of Liberty, and Sydney has the Opera House, the Harbour Bridge, and a giant glowing Coca-Cola sign. That's right, one of the most iconic landmarks in Sydney is a soda ad. The famous Coca-Cola neon sign in King's Cross, often called the Gateway to the Cross, has been a beloved part of the city's skyline since it was first erected way back in 1974. It's more than just an advertisement, it's a cultural icon, a meeting spot, and a shining beacon in one of Sydney's most vibrant neighborhoods. The sign has seen it all. It's watched the city change and grow, and it has become a symbol of Sydney's dynamic and colorful nightlife. It's so loved that when the original sign was being replaced with a more energy-efficient version in 2016, the company didn't just throw the old letters away, they auctioned them off for charity. People paid thousands of dollars to own a piece of Sydney history, with all the money going to help a local community organization, the Wayside Chapel. It just goes to show you how much that sign means to the people of Sydney. It's part of the city's heart. But Coke's connection to Australia goes deeper than just a big flashy sign. The company has become a part of the Aussie community. For example, during the historic marriage equality vote in 2017, Coca-Cola took a stand. They released limited edition cans that said, "Love in the classic script," and changed the King's Cross sign to read, "Say Yes." It was a powerful message of support and inclusivity. It was the first time in over 130 years that the famous script was used for something other than the company name, showing how the brand is willing to be part of important social conversations. From sponsoring local sports teams to supporting major events like Sydney World Pride, where they brought back the love cans and turned the sign rainbow-colored, Coca-Cola has woven itself into the fabric of Australian life. They've also focused on sustainability, with bottles in Australia now being made from 100% recycled plastic. The story of Coca-Cola in Australia is a perfect example of how a global brand can become a cherished local icon. It's about more than just selling drinks. It's about building a relationship, sharing values, and lighting up the sky for everyone to see. And now, we want to hear from you. If you're watching from Australia, share your favorite Coca-Cola moment in the comments below. Whether it's a memory under the King's Cross sign, a special celebration, or just a classic Aussie summer with an ice-cold Coke, let us know your story. So here we are today, July 12, 2025. From a single glass sold for 5 cents in an Atlanta pharmacy, to billions of servings enjoyed every single day in over 200 countries, the journey of Coca-Cola is absolutely mind-boggling. It's a story of accidental invention, marketing genius, and the kind of brand loyalty that most companies can only dream of. It has survived wars, depressions, and changing tastes. It's been to space, it's sponsored the Olympics, and it's probably been at every birthday party you've ever been to. What's the secret to its incredible staying power? I think one of the biggest reasons is that Coca-Cola has always understood the power of a feeling. They're not just selling a carbonated soft drink, they're selling happiness, togetherness, and nostalgia. Every ad, every campaign, from the polar bears to share a Coke, is designed to create a positive emotional connection. The taste is instantly recognizable, and for many people, it's the taste of good times, summer barbecues, movie nights, and celebrations. It's a simple, affordable luxury that can make an ordinary moment feel a little more special. Another key to its success is its ability to change with the times without losing its core identity. While the classic Coke recipe has remained a closely guarded secret, the company has never been afraid to innovate. They gave us Diet Coke when we wanted fewer calories, Coke Zero when we wanted the original taste with no sugar, and a whole rainbow of Fanta flavors just for fun. They've embraced sustainability, using recycled plastics, and updated their iconic signs to be more energy efficient. They listen to what people want and adapt, ensuring there's a Coke product for just about everyone. So what's next for the Fizzy King? Who knows? But one thing is for sure, Coca-Cola isn't going anywhere. It will continue to evolve, to launch new products, and to find creative new ways to connect with us. It's a brand that has managed to be both timeless and modern, global and personal, all at the same time. The fizzy tale that started in a brass kettle in Atlanta is far from over. It's a story that continues to be written every time someone, somewhere in the world, pops open a can or a bottle and enjoys that simple, perfect moment of refreshment. Cheers to that. If you enjoyed this fizzy journey, don't forget to hit subscribe and share this video with your friends. And we'd love to hear your own Coca-Cola stories. Drop them in the comments below and let's keep the conversation